where your inner voice got quiet, and where healing starts by telling the truth about that pattern. I like to personally share with that energy that I can see a shift in that happening for me. It kind of feels like a bridge between the old emotional survival habits and new embodied confidence, right? So, what are we shedding that was limiting, and what are we kind of opening up to or acknowledging? So then that way we can open up to a new sense of empowerment. So, because I believe you can name the wound, you can work with it. If you
Hmm.
listen beneath the doubt, your intuition becomes easier to hear. So, just wanted to share that as a little energy reference for today and what we will be talking about. And from here, I will let Tina introduce our show.
Great. Good morning. We do have a familiar face back on the show. There she is. Heather. Heather comes to us with years of background around star seeds and astrology and focusing on archetypes. And we had asked her to come in at one point to talk about Sophia, and Sophia really resonated with the group that day. And we realized we might have hit oil by finding a topic people were very interested in. So Heather's back today to introduce us to another female archetype. But the interesting part about the Sophia and the Sedna archetype that you're going to hear about today truly plays into the conversation we had on Monday around intuition and fear and where we allow ourselves to get stuck, and where we allow ourselves the ability to trust our inner being and being able to make such decisions. Um, so Sophia represents the part of you that is wise, that is calm, that is clear thinking. She's the inner voice that helps slow you down. She's that pause. She's that pause we talk about a lot. Um, she allows us to see what's going on, to take it all in, that reflection, and make decisions that feel aligned versus reactive, which I believe a lot of people resonated with that because that's a new transition for them. We're moving from a reactive space to learning how to just, okay, what's going on here? I'm taking my inventory in. Sophia's energy is the ability to look beneath the surface, the clarity that comes when you're not rushing. Again, that pause, the sense of inner authority that says, I know what's right for me, and the grounded presence that helps you stay steady in situations and transitions. She's not dramatic, she's not loud,
Hmm.
she doesn't make a lot of noise, but you'll hear her if you're in tune. She's the quiet, steady part of you that already knows the truth. Sophia brings the intuition and the wisdom and the ability to pause or reflect and acknowledge, here's what I'm going to do differently.
Hmm.
So we can throw some accountability into that space too and self awareness. Sedna, which is very interesting, and I'm so excited to learn more about Sedna. Sedna is that fear, that anxiety we talked about Monday. It's allowing us to remember the old wounds, kind of like they should have healed, but maybe Sedna's making us rethink that process and how we healed and if we really did heal. We hear things like, this hurt me last time I did this. And then it activates those limited belief systems that can help keep us from following our intuition. So, Heather, I'm going to hand it off to you to introduce us to Sedna.
Okay.
I'm excited to learn a little more about her because I'm pretty sure she's creeping up inside of me at times lately.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hand this off to you and get this conversation flowing.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you. Good introduction about Sophia. Um, she's beautiful energy, and I'm glad to hear that we got a lot of people that were interested in learning about Sophia or feeling like they're in their Sophia stage of their life. And I think we talked about that Sophia hits us at all different parts and times of our life. And then I think if you're listening to your friends' stories or if you have clients, probably what hits you the most is you're like, oh, they're in their Sophia phase right now, right? You're waking up, you're seeing more clearly, living more authentically, reclaiming your inner authority, right? So beautiful energy with Sophia. So I hooked onto Sedna because she sits in the charts, and I did find where Sedna and Sophia sits in both of your charts, Nicole and Tina. I can send those to you later if you want to read about them. But excuse me, Sedna is all about your deepest wounds and how you rise from your wounds. But our wounds do sit in our they sit deep in our souls, they sit deep in our DNA, they sit deep in your cellular level. Can you agree with that, ladies? Yeah. So the story of Sedna, she's an Inuit. I'm going to call her a princess because, of course, she's a very beautiful mythological creature. And she lives on this island with her tribe, her family. And this beautiful, or very handsome, not beautiful, this very handsome um, man comes from another island. He's all all handsome. He's with a big black cloak, and he's taking her, bribing her, promising her all of this goodness over at his island. And of course, Sedna was very beautiful. All the local men wanted to have her, but she got taken and swept away by this man who lived over at another island, right? So she crosses all of this frozen water with this man, this handsome man. And when she got over to his island, everything that she was promised from him was not true. He was really a dark creature. When he took his cloak off, he was just like a crow, an angry bird. And she was sent to live in a nest full of bones and scraps and no food. So she has that first betrayal from him. So she's over on this other frozen island with this promise of grandeur and beauty and crystal living. And she gets there and it's none of the above. She has no way to feed herself. There's no one there. So she's been betrayed by this man, right? So her father, through the winds, finds out that she's unhappy. So it's such a story, mythology, right? The father finds out through the winds that she's very unhappy and gets into his little kayaky canoe thing and travels over to save her. He gets her into his canoe or kayak, whatever, to bring her back to the original land that she lived in. But that handsome creature decided to cause all of this friction on the ocean and a storm and rain. So the father decided to throw Sedna overboard. And that would be the second betrayal. So she grabs on to the canoe, kayak, whatever, and the fierce winds and waters won't stop. So he cuts her fingers off. So she sinks to the bottom of the ocean, right? Now she's gone into her second betrayal, the second one being her father. So she starts to drown in this frozen water. And instead of her drowning in her emotions, she all of a sudden comes to life while she's in this frozen water. And she becomes this energy that speaks to fish and wildlife in the ocean. So ocean life, fish, whales. She produces all of this beautiful ocean energy. And that is her speaking about being healed and not dying in her deep emotions. So she heals by creating all of this, abundance of fish for other people collectively that can live with um, all of that nature, all of that, like the people who live off of fish to eat their fish. So she kind of like heals herself without drowning, which is what this is about, not always leaning into your betrayals, your abandonments, and surviving. You guys have anything to say about that? Have you had any experiences of feeling like your wounds are drowning you?
Oh yeah, every day. So I think I have a point. I need a clarification.
Yeah,
So when her father goes to this island
to save her, yeah.
to save her, what what are the reasonings for what the betrayal he did by cutting her fingers and allowing her
Oh,
to
he
drown?
was trying to save himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
he's trying to save himself by dumping her off of the boat. So he basically goes over to save her, but because they get onto this boat together, he cuts her, dumps her off and cuts her fingers off to save himself.
I got you. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah. So now she has that double betrayal. She feels abandoned. She's lost trust. She has emotional fragmentation. She's trying to survive, right? So now she has survival trauma. And but what brings about when she starts to save herself is that rebirth, right? That whole emotional rebirth, intuition, um, saving herself, like sacred connection to the collective, helping the collective by creating all this ocean life so people can live off of the ocean life. But she's more about you know, what she's really trying to teach you is not to live in the pain, because we all love to live in that pain. Like Tina said, every day we face these things. Um, so kind of the questions that Sedna brings up, maybe we could talk about this a little bit, is what's frozen inside of you? Like, what are you holding on to that is stopping you from growing or stopping you? Like, what's frozen inside of you? For me, I have a lot of abandonment issues, and I've been trying to really look very deep at those. Where do those abandonment issues come in for me? My parents always stayed married. I don't know, why do I get so emotional when people leave me, or not leave me forever, but even if you walk out the door just to go grocery shopping, I have this like panic fear of never having that person come back. So that's me being frozen in some of my deep emotions. You want to share anything that you guys have for your abandonment or betrayal or loss of trust or?
Yeah, I think for me, it's more about relationship trusts and relationships. Um, I've gotten better at leaning into what feels more um, positive and not made up. Like there's not a lot of energy that it takes to get to talk to this individual, and that's when I know it's a good conversation. It's a good feeling
Yeah.
versus being forced. But I tend to allow the people in my life that are going to bring me more stress, more toxic things to worry about, more things to focus on, then I lose myself in the work that I'm doing to help them settle.
Yeah.
And so I could see where trust in relationships is probably a place where I probably get frozen.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I would say that's probably it. And then that leads into that abandonment feeling if it's not working out.
Yeah, because you put time and energy into it, and then
Yeah. Yeah. I think, for me, I think it comes from many of our past lives. I think we just bring it forward. And I think it's always these lessons that we need to learn on how to not become frozen with fear. So important. So Sophia is the one who awakens the mind and the soul, and Sedna awakens the emotional part of our body, the body of the soul. So Sophia is more of the mind, right? And then Sedna is more of the emotional part of ourselves. Sophia would say, let's look at the truth. And Sedna says, let's feel the truth. So you see the difference between the two. One's more of the mind, and then Sedna is all about that emotion. Um, can they live without each other? So let's just say Sophia doesn't have Sedna. Um, Sophia would have to become more spiritually detached, like overly Sophia is overly intellectual. Sedna's really not. She's all right here in that heart space, in that body space. Sophia is a little disconnected from the body, where Sedna is all about that body, right? Her whole body sank in that frozen water. So how did she survive? She had to really pull in from her soul to make that happen, right? Um, let's see, Sedna without Sophia. So Sedna couldn't live without Sophia because she needed to have that brain, that wisdom. Like, how do I turn my frozen energy into healing, and then healing for the collective? Not letting all of that trauma be repeat over and over again, right? Sophia wants you to learn from your trauma and not repeat your trauma. And here Sedna needs to learn from that, right? Is this making sense to you, Tina, now a little bit?
Oh yeah, it's connecting. It's keep doing it till I figure it's not working out.
Yeah, and stay out of that fear, right? You and
Yeah.
I talk about this all the time on
Yeah.
a personal basis when you're coaching me and I'm working on your astrology chart. So Sophia brings the higher perspective and helps organize the descent, right? Sophia is the brain. She's the one that's saying, you've already learned those lessons. And this applies to men too, even though that they're female names, Sophia and Sedna, they still apply to the male energy. Just because they're female names, it doesn't mean that they don't apply to a man being in their Sophia phase, or a man being frozen of fear too, with betrayal. I mean, they all have that too. I imagine they have amazing stories to share about that. So Sophia illuminates your path. Sedna transforms the soul through the waters. Sophia helps you understand what is happening. Sedna makes you embody it. Sophia opens the crown. Sedna opens the abyss. And somewhere between all of that, your authentic self is born. So if we can kind of live with both of these within us, and there's so many more. I know you have a new, and we've talked about Hecate in the past. She's the pause between all of this. We could put them all together one day, and then I know you're introducing someone new on Friday. But yes, trying to put them both together. And you said it beautiful, Tina. Like, you know, um, taking all of that beautiful Sophia knowledge, right? And then just being able to apply it to that everyday life of Sedna being frozen. I mean, I got frozen on Sunday. I wasn't feeling well. It was Mother's Day. I went down a deep, dark, whatever. And it was my fear of, like, I hadn't raised my children right, and oh my gosh, I went down this deep thing, and it really was because I wasn't feeling good, but I did get frozen in my emotions. I didn't feel like all that I thought that I had. Like, I have 4 kids. They didn't all call me. One forgot to call me, and everyone moved on with their day. But it was just me feeling like, I was just at a loss. I was frozen in my own emotions, right? But I was not using my wisdom of Sophia to put it into perspective. I'm sure we've all felt that way, right?
Even Sunday. Yeah, I could relate to you with the Mother's Day thing when you were talking about that. Because when you're talking about Sedna, I feel a lot of like, if we're frozen, for me, this is kind of what I'm,
Yeah.
receiving from this is like, if we're frozen, where are we maybe needing to comfort ourselves, comfort that aspect of ourselves, and letting, ourselves know, that we're okay, that we got ourselves. Because in reference to when you shared with Sunday, very much had a similar situation with one of my kids. And then it
Yeah.
turned out that he was actually trying to set up a surprise for me. But I had originally got into that place, and it ended up being an emotional moment. My younger son ended up helping me trigger that to the surface. But in
Yeah.
triggering it to the surface, I said, yeah, these thoughts aren't helpful. These are
Yeah.
actually having me feel stuck right now, and but I'm appreciative that I'm having this moment, that I'm
Yeah.
okay and regrounding. So there's something beautiful in what you're sharing of needing the or having the aspects of both Sedna and Sophia, because intellectually to try to break it down, comfort, face it, and then the Sedna energy of being okay to comfort I is what I get. Like, when we freeze in that time, where are we needing a sense of comfort? Just in my perspective of what I was gauging from what you were sharing.
Yeah. I had trouble with finding my own comfort though. So I was staying in my own I was, when I think about what you're saying, I was almost betraying myself because I
Mm.
couldn't find the comfort. It wasn't until Monday when I got my comfort, because I started to share. But yeah, I think I was almost betraying myself. But
Well, I think you were also reacting to something that felt like a betrayal,
yeah.
and that doesn't help.
Right, but then I think I said this to you, Tina. I was like, well, I always say to my kids, every day's Mother's Day. You don't really have to celebrate Mother's Day special. So maybe I've trained my children. It's okay not to have a special day for it. And then here it comes, and I didn't get the special day. So it's kind of like, be careful what you, like I had said to them, like every day's Mother's Day. Why would you celebrate it once a year? And then when it came and left and it wasn't special, I was
Yep.
like, so again, I betrayed myself and felt betrayed.
Well, we all do that. I remember telling my mother I don't want birthday cakes anymore, and when the birthday cake stopped, I was like, "Fuck!" I would come home on my
We want to
birthday
be
with my own birthday
celebrated.
cake.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
deep down we want to be
don't
celebrated.
worry
That's
about
all.
me. Don't worry about me. Oh yeah. I call those a pity party. So maybe it's a Sophia Sedna um pity party, like a self-pity party.
Yeah, but sometimes we might need those moments because we are so going and caring and trying to nurture relationships with people, family, and what have you, that sometimes there's that victim moment that might be necessary for that comfort to happen. Of
Yeah.
like, oh man, I'm kind of vulnerable. I know that I've expressed it this way, but it's hitting me different today, and honoring that, and that's completely okay. Like Tina always says, allowing the grace, so then that way you can really shift out of that for next time if it resurfaces. You know.
Yeah, there's your Sophia energy, right? So just trying to learn from it all. Yeah.
And maybe it's not just that, yeah, Mother's Day is every day, or I've, told them that I don't need this or don't need that, but it's more of why don't they just want to do it anyways?
Yeah.
I do it, why don't they just want to do it?
Yeah.
And
I
that's
love
that
that. I
patience.
love that you hear about restaurants are all booked up solid and yeah, I just use the wrong words sometimes with my kids. I give them a break. But yeah, so I was, definitely frozen with my own emotions. I couldn't dig out of it, you know.
It probably needed some time for you to sit in, though, and that's okay because it seems like
Yeah.
now you found some, or are starting to find some differing perspective and hopefully some healing from that experience.
Yeah.
Because you're definitely loved. You are a beautiful
Yeah, for
energy.
sure. Oh yeah, for
You know.
sure. No, I never
Yeah, but
never
it's
felt.
okay to take it. It's okay to take it. I want to honor you for a moment. I want to honor you for Mother's Day.
Oh,
I want
thank
to honor
you.
you for what you have brought light to all of us as well. And
Oh.
sometimes we might not get it necessarily from where we're hoping, but you
Oh,
still deserve to know it in the moments as well.
I thank you. I also honor all of you, Nicole,
Yeah.
Tina, Stephanie. Okay, so you guys want to kind of wrap up, Sedna, Sophia? You think you understand? Stephanie, do you understand the Sophia Sedna energy or
Oh yeah, I totally do. And I was
yeah,
one of those that totally resonated with Sophia when you were talking about it. And it
yeah,
hit me that I was in a place where I was starting that that transition to remove what is not needed in my life
yeah,
and moving forward. So that really did resonate with me. And And I can totally see, today you talking about Sedna, that I did focus a lot on, past experiences and betrayals and trauma, and letting that lead my life, guide where, what I was doing.
Yeah.
And, in past relationships, and trusting, and
Yeah.
the the self-worth being torn down,
Mm.
now building all of that back up, sitting on why am I why am I feeling this way about myself? And, you know, realizing that it's because of relationships that I was in, be it, my significant other, or even just family.
Yeah.
And now, especially right now with what's happening, there's a lot of eye opening going on.
You mean in light of your grandma's passing?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I see a lot of, um, what's the word I want to use? A lot of reflecting that's going to be happening,
Mm.
and healing,
Oh, beautiful.
be it whether together, individually, um, boundaries.
Yeah. Boundaries. That's boundaries, Sophia.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honoring yourself.
Yep.
Yes. We have to all do that. Maybe we can make a little pinky
Mm-hmm.
shake to honoring
Yep.
ourselves. Um, I would I would encourage you to lean in and listen to your friends and your clients and your family and listen into their stories when they're sharing their stories, because you can apply both of these to every story. So someone was telling me the other day that she had become very sick and um was passing out a lot, and like, I hear these stories all the time in my career when I teach Pilates. Everyone comes in with a story, and they're all the same story, but a different version of the same story. So I was listening in and I thought, wow, so she got sick. She became frozen with her emotions and became very ill and was doing this, some type of passing out on a regular basis. And she couldn't pull herself together. She had a family, she runs a business, and then she decided to just like stop and pause. So there's your Hecate energy, the pause, or the Sophia energy to pause. She like gathered her family into the room and had them all sit down and said, here's the deal. So here you come all the way like full circle. So now she's frozen with fear. She can't move. Something's made her not feel good. Maybe she's burnt out, right? The familiar theme. And then she had to tell everyone, like, she had to come to Jesus meeting with everybody. So there's your Sophia, right?
Mm.
She had to lean in, use her energy, put boundaries on the family. Everyone had to do different chores to get her to feel better. So it's just interesting when you lean in and listen to people's stories, you can start applying all of these things. And I just kept telling her, I'm like, oh, you moved into your Sophia phase, which you'll go through a lot of times, right?
Mhm.
We talked about that. You do it many, many times throughout your life. But I
Stephanie, also known as the FU stage.
wow, I love that.
The psychology to the energy of talking about this is so I feel like it's so clear for anybody who knows nothing about female archetypes to know and a
Yeah.
little bit to, because there really is such a psychology to understanding this. And Steph, like for real, us talking about this today really does reign true to what is currently kind of in the energy right now, right? So
Yeah.
it's a very empowering moment of like, okay, what is mine? What am I letting go of? What is where the boundaries got to go? And
Yeah.
through loss that tends to happen, we start to find new pieces of ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, it's beautiful. And when you're going through transitions like this, and they're very hard, and you're seeing what other people are like under grief and the unknown, I think you just have to lean in and just let some of it go. Like you can't hold on to everything. And you can't hold on to everyone else's energy through, their grief and the loss of your grandma. I mean, it's a hard enough thing, but for you to take on everyone else's energy, that's where you would block it. And call in your Sophia. Call her in. She's got a name, you can call her in,
Yeah. People are
you
gonna
know.
wonder why I'm screaming Sophia in the parking lot.
I met a waitress a little while ago. We went out to dinner. Her name was Sophia, and my jaw just dropped open. And I wanted to go into this whole like, do you know about the Sophia phase of life and the Sophia code? And I'm like, I better not dive into that right now in the restaurant. I'd probably lose the person I was with. He'd probably get up and be like, I'll check you later, But
There's a guy
so
named Gabriel that I do that to.
yeah.
When you said that, yeah, at Costco, he works at Costco. His name's Gabriel. Every time I see him, I go, "You got a message for me, Gabriel?"
Yeah,
Oh man, he's
this
like,
girl wouldn't know what I was talking about. But anyway, so just to wrap it up, remember everyone who's listening here, we're all here to help you expand more into your Sophia, your Hecate energy. Sophia again teaches us to remember. She's our wisdom. She's your brain power, right? And Sedna is teaches us to feel, and together they return us to our own soul. And that's my wrap up.
yep. Karen would say that you are allowed to feel exactly how you feel right now. That kind of gives me Sedna energy
Yeah,
around that.
she's
Yeah, for sure.
beautiful. There's a clip. I don't know if you can link it. I sent you that little tiny clip on Sedna. I don't know if you can link it somehow. I don't know if I'm using all the wrong words or something, but there's a beautiful YouTube out there of her story. I mean, there's lots of videos of it, but there's one that's like an animation of, her being betrayed by that handsome man that came through, and then he betrayed her. And Tina, like the father saying, like, get off my boat. I'm going to drown. You're going to drown. So I'm going to get you off the boat so I don't drown. So it's on YouTube. You can look it up, I guess.
I just sent it to Tina to see if maybe she's able to share it because I'm not able to get it out of the text thing.
Oh, I sent it to Tina too, but Stephanie, you might enjoy watching it to understand a little more.
Yeah.
It's very dark, and I mean, Sedna too can be like your shadow energy if you want to look into some shadow energy, because again, me being in my own self pity on Sunday, that was my shadow, right? I had to work through my shadow energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So.
The dogs agree with that as well. But you know, people yell out all kinds of names all the time, Stephanie. Think about it. The JC. God, so if Sophia, a lot of times there's a trend going on right now where people are calling out just Jessica just so they can get the kids to stop crying. So
Right.
you
I
call
saw
out
that.
whatever you need to for your healing, girl.
Yeah, there's lots of people you can call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you
Beautiful. Well,
able to?
thank you for letting me share. I hope I made a lot of
Absolutely.
sense.
You did a beautiful job. With
Yeah.
that, well, we have a moment. Stephanie, would you like to do your purposeful pause?
Sure.
Beautiful.
So, I'm glad that what I prepared does go with this very well. I wasn't quite sure how this was going to go today because I didn't know anything about sadness. So, our past experiences have a huge impact on how we feel about ourselves and play a part in our trust or doubt in ourselves. Self doubt is rarely the enemy we think it is. At its core, it's just a protective reflex. Your mind tugging your sleeve, asking, are you sure you're safe? The problem is that over time, that reflex can become overreactive. It stops being a whisper of caution and starts to become a constant narrator of limitation. The work of unlearning self doubt begins with noticing the tone of that narrator. Self doubt speaks in absolutes. You can't. You're not ready. You always mess this up. Growth speaks in possibilities. Try, learn, adjust, begin, which kind of reminds me of Sedna going into, she's under the water and she's, doing with the life, the fish life for other people.
Mhm.
The shift happens when you stop treating self-doubt as truth and start treating it as a signal. A cue to slow down, breathe, and choose your next step with intention rather than fear. A simple daily practice: when self-doubt shows up, you ask yourself whether the voice you're hearing is protection or potential. Protection wants to keep you where you are. Potential wants to show you who you could become. Unlearning self-doubt isn't about silencing the voice, and as seems like a theme across the board, it's about retaining your relationship with it so it no longer decides your direction, it simply informs your awareness.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that went great with what we were
Yeah,
talking
I
about
think
today.
it's perfect. Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. That kind of ties it all in together.
Yeah. What a purposeful pause.
Yeah.
I love that. Um, if you're not able to, Tina, I could always, I think, attach like the
I put
link
it in the
to
chat.
podcast description. Oh, okay. So that way, if anybody's watching, then they have the opportunity to click on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
good.
cool. Good. Yeah, feel free to check that out and just sit with the energy and see what your body starts to unravel for you, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, today's episode is really great. I think it was a beautiful roundtable discussion. I'm grateful,
Thank
Heather, that
you.
you space with us and
Thank
education.
you.
And
Yeah.
yeah, because I think that there's something real empowering when we can take the psychology of something and add such a embodied, powerful energy. Because I feel like when we're in those, what could be struggles, it's kind of, it can be eye-opening and feel good to call on something, like people do, but call on it in a way that's very intimate for you and your current situation. So I really appreciated
Thank
that
you.
reflection for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for
Um,
inviting me.
always, you're always welcome on here, girl.
I
Anytime,
know.
anytime. Welcome back. But Tina, did you want to do your Tina's reflection time?
Yeah. So before I do that, Stephanie, little
Yes.
thought for you as you navigate through the next couple days. I have found when you can trip people up by just being yourself,
Mm,
showing a side of you that feels different and looks different, people
mm,
get curious and they start to say, what's going on with Stephanie? The
Right.
best
mm.
thing you could say is, through this experience, I've worked on myself,
Yep.
and just make it about you.
Yep.
Yeah. I love
Because
that.
it just leaves them kind of on a hook to be like, what did that mean? So you kind of you're getting that Scorpio dig in, but you're also getting that I am reflecting on this entire situation and
Yeah,
I'm growing from it.
Right.
So I suggest you do the same thing.
that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
Great message.
Anywho,
I say kill him with kindness.
Yeah.
yeah, well, kindness was not at the end of that sentence, but I could get there. All right, so as we close, feel the two ancient guides at your side. Sedna rises from the deep, the part of you that knows the truth you've buried.
Mm.
Her waters are cold, honest, and unignorable.
Oof.
And now I can relate to what the waters means in that sentence. She shows you the fear that lives beneath your patterns, not to punish you, but to free you.
Mm.
Sophia stands in the quiet light, the wisdom in your bones. She reminds you that intuition is older than fear, older than doubt, and older than every story you've ever told yourself just to be safe.
Mm.
Together they whisper, your fear is not a warning, it's a threshold. Your intuition is not a risk, it's a remembering. So as you step back into your life, ask yourself, where is Sedna revealing what I can no longer pretend not to know? And where is Sophia guiding me toward the truth I'm finally ready to trust?
Wow.
May you walk forward held by both, the depth that reveals you and the wisdom that restores you.
Wow, that took my breath away.
That's my goal, Heather.
That was beautiful wrap up. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, that was a good reflection.
Well, I appreciated the Sedna conversation because I did in the very minute, like when you started that conversation. Oh, here come my Cardinals. 3 of them. Still got that nasty female bitch out there. I gotta control her. Um, when you started the story about Sedna, and I was reading about her, I did not make the connection with the father.
Okay, yeah.
I had made the connection with her going, being attracted to what's on that island, what life might look like. But
Yeah.
when you started talking about the father cutting her fingers off and throwing her overboard, I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, it turned for me, but then because I allow myself to ask questions now, you were able to at least get me to understand that. But that was a huge, huge point in the story for me, that the trust she must have had in her father
Yeah.
to come save her as the daughter, and then he saves himself by pushing her away.
Yeah. It happens a lot.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, I'm sure we can all sit with that.
Yeah. And when it comes down to of now having to reinforce your own power, look into yourself, be resilient, because
Yeah.
that kind of betrayal is a kind of betrayal that, a lot of people can tend to stay stuck in, like Heather was talking about. But when we can allow ourselves to sit in it, allow whatever comes up and process through it, you got to feel it to heal it. Because then once you heal it, then you can empower others with that wisdom that comes from it.
Yeah, that's Sedna. Yep.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, anybody want to close before we end today? Thank you for joining us. I see that there's a couple people on. We got into talking about Sedna today.
Yeah.
And the journey back to trusting oneself. We'll go into deeper on Friday about what trusting yourself looks like. And we'll be talking about another female archetype that we're all kind of learning about at this time as
Yeah.
well.
Not even heard of her.
Yeah, I know. I didn't either. So I thought it was an interesting way of kind of sharing the empowerment of these energies and these archetypes, along with the psychological lens of what our experiences can be that we all go through, though they're individual. We can all, when we have these conversations, really relate and have a better understanding of how life is happening for us.
Mm.
And with that, I'd like to close out today and thank everybody for being here at this round table. Heather, thank you again for joining us. You're welcome back every day, every time. Or whenever you have space available.
Sure.
But keep enjoying that love bubble, because girl, you deserve it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, but as I always say to you, beautiful souls, you woke up today, so here's your reminder that your soul still has purpose on this planet. Just keep go out there and live it authentically, true to you. Love and light, beautiful souls. We'll be back Friday.
See you later. Bye, ladies.
Bye.